What was this strange, black-looking stormtrooper in early prototype photos? Was it a plan for a TIE Fighter pilot? A figure that Kenner wouldn't even make until almost the end of the Empire Strikes Back run? Well, let's dig into the mystery and find out. First off, let's look at the photo of the upcoming 12 Star Wars figures. This photo shows all 12 figures, but as you can tell, 3 of them are prototypes. The other 9 figures are as they appear at retail stores, other than the color of Obi-Wan's cape and a few other minor changes. But why are 3 of these figures the prototypes? If they had 9 figures ready to go by the time of the photo, shouldn't all 12 been ready? Well, not really. We all think of the first released Star Wars figures as being the first 12. 12 Star Wars figures hitting the stores in 1978. But that's not really true. Looking at early plans from Kenner, the plan was to release 9 figures in the first series, not 12. Production on the first 9 figures started before the last 3, the Jawa, Tusken Raider, and the mysterious Death Squad Commander. Due to them being late additions, 9 figures were first released to the stores, not 12. Of course, these 3 additional figures are shown on the back of the card, but they didn't hit retail stores until months after the first 9. Even Kenner would promote them as 3 new figures. But what was the mysterious black figure that looked a lot like a TIE Fighter pilot? It is listed as the Death Squad Commander, a figure we did get, and was part of the final 3, but it looks nothing like a Death Squad Commander at all. First, it's clear that this figure is a prototype, and it's clear that it's a prototype made from a Fisher-Price Adventure People figure, as most of the other prototypes were. As you can see from this very early prototype photo, 7 of the first 9 figures were made from the Adventure People figures. R2-D2 seems to be made from something different, and C-3PO is cardboard. As the figures got closer to release, the planned 9 figures jumped to 11 figures, but as you can see in this early prototype display, the Death Squad Commander is still missing from the planned figures. So it seems out of the final 3 figures, he was added even later. Early ads for the Kenner action figure shows only 9 figures as part of the set, as you can see from this very Dr. Doom looking Darth Vader ad, and this Pal Toys ad. So it seems 9 figures were planned to be released, but then Kenner for some reason decided to push it up to 11, adding the Jawa, which they listed as Chief Jawa, and a Tusken Raider. It seems work on those 2 started, and then a final decision was made to add 1 more figure, rounding out the first 12, the Death Squad Commander. But still, why does this look like a TIE Fighter pilot? We do know from early blueprints that the Death Squad Commander planned looked more like the figure we got. Could this have been an early prototype for the planned Shadow Stormtrooper? Very little is known about this figure Kenner planned that may possibly have been based on the Shadow Trooper from the Star Wars comic strips at the time. If you want to know what we do know about that figure, please see my video on that. I'll link to it at the end of this video. We do know as Kenner was working on the figures, they were also working on the ships. Kenner knew very early on that they would release a TIE Fighter, so maybe this was an early design for the TIE Fighter pilot. Well, that doesn't seem likely, as Kenner seemed to be in no rush to have pilots for its toys. The Luke X-Wing figure came out in Series 2, almost a year after the X-Wing. The TIE Fighter pilot did come out long after Kenner released a TIE Fighter ship. That TIE Fighter ship was released in 1978, but the pilot didn't hit stores until 1982. Even the Cloud Car pilot hit stores a year after the Cloud Car. So it seems clear Kenner was never really in a rush to have pilots to go with their flying toys. Sadly, we have no official answer to what this prototype was, but my guess, Kenner wanted to add a 12th figure. They were planning to either do a Death Squad Commander or a Rebel Trooper. Both figures would use the same body with different paint. So they went with the Death Squad Commander. Maybe feeling kids needed more bad guys, or maybe thinking kids would buy him to go along with the Death Star playset. When it came time to photo the first 12 figures, they were still working on the Death Squad Commander, so they took one of the Stormtrooper prototypes and painted it black for the photo. That seems like the most likely thing that happened, as by the time they took the photo, they knew they were making 12 figures, but they didn't have a prototype of the Death Squad Commander. As I've shown, the decision to make that figure was very late in the planning. We might not never know 100% what this black prototype figure was, and we also may never know why Kenner even came up with the name Death Squad Commander. But if you ask me, a black stormtrooper called Death Squad Commander sounds a lot more cooler than a white dude wearing a bedpan helmet called the Death Squad Commander. But there's one more piece of this puzzle we haven't looked at yet. During a 1977 news report in Germany on the upcoming Star Wars toys, there's a shot of a very early prototype of a TIE fighter. And guess who's standing inside the cockpit? Our little black stormtrooper looking friend, the Death Squad commander. This is, as far as I can find, the only time that this prototype has ever been linked to the TIE fighter. So what do you think? A prototype of a planned TIE fighter pilot? An early prototype of a shadow trooper from the comic strip? Or just a prototype of a white stormtrooper painted black and placed in the photo because it had nothing else to show? And before you tell us in the comments section, yes, Kenner changed the name of the Death Squad commander to the Star Destroyer commander during the Empire Strikes Back run of the figures. And no, he was never ever called Death Star Commander, even if that seems more fitting to the figure that was released in 1978. Well, that's a look at the mysterious black stormtrooper in the early prototype photos. Let me know in the comments below what you think this is. And until the next video, thumb up so I know you like my content, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk again soon.
Junkman.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.